Hey everyone, it's Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. I'm happy that you are here and enjoying these how to use printables in your scrapbook videos. I'm so glad you guys are enjoying those, and that makes me so happy because I love using printables. And Mandy Ford just put out a huge release of fall autumn themed kits. There is so many. I think there's at least 5 or 6. This is the one that I'm starting with. It is called Old Autumn, and I'm gonna make 2 traveler's notebook pages, and then you can see the planner page spread in my September journal video. So, Old Autumn, let's get started on looking at it. So you have these library pockets. You could totally cut those out, and then if you take an X-Acto knife, you could kind of cut this out, and then that way you could put something on it, or you could cut one out and then use it on the other one. So that's an idea, and then you could cut this out too as well with an X-Acto knife. Or you could try to cut it out with a Cameo, but you don't have to. You can just use an X-Acto knife. This one I am going to hand cut. I tried to put it in the Cameo and it wasn't cooperating, so I'll just cut it. It's just circles, but there are some fabulous colors and patterns and icons. I just love it. And then look at this pattern paper. This one you could almost frame. Isn't it so awesome? I love it. And then an orange one with some circles. And then you have kind of a gold yellow, mustard yellow with a bunch of phrases on it. Campfire, pumpkin, sweater, boots. And then a wood grain with green and blue. And then a small library pocket page, pattern page. I love that. And then another wood grain with actual brown. There was 2 sheets that I was able to cut out with the Cameo just to save my hands and my arthritis. So let me show you those. So one page was just all these leaves. Where's this aside? So that way you can see. So there is one sheet full of leaves, and they are very easy to hand cut. So that is not going to be a problem. But there's a variety of leaves and colors and patterns. So that is one sheet of cut aparts that you can use. And then the other one has a ton of icons on it. But see, this is why I needed my Cameo, because I couldn't cut those. So there's a bunch of asterisks in different colors, and there's a bunch of tiny leaves, as you can see. This would have been hard for me to cut out too. And then there's pumpkins, leaves, lots of pumpkins, acorns, and then a ton of different coffee mugs or thermoses. However you want to look at it, there's a ton of them. And that's a coffee cup. And then there's a ton of circles as well. So this is a cut apart sheet as well. You can use the Cameo or you can cut these out, because as you can see, most of these are just easy shapes to cut out. Let me show you my projects. So one is just going to be documenting a favorite book that I read in the fall, and I'm just going to do 1 page for it. And then the other one, I really love this photo of my kids in the fall. So I'm going to do a double page spread and probably use a bazillion of these and a ton of different stuff to document this favorite photo. So those are my 2 projects, and then you can also check out the planner project as well. So once again, 1 kit and 3 projects. I just love the versatility of these printable kits. And 3 projects isn't even the stop. I mean, you don't have to stop on 3 projects. You could do a ton of projects with these. So, all right, you guys, I'm going to switch to voiceover and get started. Okay, so I have the general idea of how I want this layout to go, but it's going to take me a little while to get there. So bear with me and just watch me as I play around with the design and try to figure out how I want to bring this project to life. I know that I want on the far right side a about 2-inch size paper, and it'll kind of be like the tree trunk on the far right side. And then I know that I want 2 different paper strips. I'm gonna have one that's orange, this one, and then one that is yellow. And so I am just trimming the paper. I think I went for 1/2 inch for these ones. This one I just eyeballed, that way I could get a strip of words into one section. So I just eyeballed that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the orange on the bottom, and then I will put the yellow on top. And since I don't want to say I didn't like the word, but I don't need the word tea because I don't drink tea, and so I'm going to cut that out in just a little bit. I am going to make a little cluster up at the top right. I don't normally do that because it makes it feel like something is coming out of my head, but I figured in this case it will work, and I will put a stamped sentiment there. Now on the left side, I know that I wanted to do something with these leaves. I couldn't figure out if I wanted them going up or I wanted them going down, and I didn't know which ones I wanted to use to begin with. So I'm just kind of playing around with them, and then I decide, okay, if I use the Thankful stamp set from Everyday Explorers, that would work great and it would tie it in, but I need to rotate the stamp leaves, and I will do that in just a little bit. I'm going to start adhering everything down because I know a lot of the pieces that I want to use, like this wood grain paper, and then also the yellow paper and the orange paper. Like I said, I'm going to cut out a few of the words that I don't need. So I'll put down orange first, and then I'm going to put down the yellow, and then I think sweater is hanging over. So I am going to make sweater so that way it goes onto both pages. So whatever gets cut off here, I will make sure it gets adhered to the left side. And then I'll just take out T and then layer on another piece. So there's a little bit of paper piecing, and I'm sure if you look closely, you could probably see it. But as I always say, doesn't really matter, right? It's better to just have the page documented and have fun with the project. So I cut out the T, and I think maybe the cider too, because I don't generally drink cider, and I didn't need it for this layout. So there you go. I'm being fussy with the words in this pattern paper, but oh well. I decided to pop dot this picture of my kids and I turned it into black and white, which is a perfect and easy way to use any scrapbook kit you want, and you don't have to worry about whatever colors are in the photo because the photo is black and white. I did take my bone folder and I kind of put a line down the middle with my bone folder just to give it a little more dimension, and I kind of bent up the leaves on that orange one, and that way it just looks, like I said, a little more dimensional. Okay, so this is where I flipped the leaves and I'm starting to put together the left side of the page, and I only put adhesive kind of towards the top of the leaves, and that way I could fold up the edges like I said. I did decide to do something that I thought was pretty clever. I took that leaf that is blue and green, and a small little piece was going to hang over to the right. So I cut that off carefully, and then I'm going to glue it on to the right hand side page. And then I take another leaf and I completely tuck that underneath the page. That way it looks like the banner of leaves is carrying over to the right side, when technically it's not, but it just appears that way, right? It's the illusion. I'm also pop dotting several other leaves in 2 different shapes, and then I will add in the stamped phrases that I want to use from the Everyday Explorer stamp set. I prep them with my sand eraser, and the main one I want to use is Thankful. I am going to put that above the banner of leaves to kind of anchor everything down. I also stamped This Was So Sweet, and then I have 2 circle sentiments, like my heart is so full, and then thankful for this. So I'm going to fussy cut out all of those, and then I am going to put down the thankful, and then I'm going to realize that I need something to kind of ground the thankful and anchor it down a little bit more, something that had a little more weight than just the thankful piece of paper. So I will tell you what I'm going to do in just a second. I take my heart is full, one of the circles, and I'm going to put that up by the corner of the photo, of like by my head. And then I will add in the squiggly heart. I will put that over by the thankful. I think I actually wind up switching the 2 circles. That way I had an orange sentiment on the left and the right. Give it a little bit of continuity. So I have all the stamped pieces cut out, and then like I said, I needed something that had more weight with the thankful portion. So I noticed that one of the library cards or papers got wet And I was like, well, you know what? I could still use a portion of that to mat my Thankful on. And then it gives that weight that I need and a little more emphasis on the Thankful that I needed as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put the portion of the library card down and then pop dot the Thankful. And now it has the emphasis that I want, a little bit more weight, and also the leaf stems are not showing, which is something that I kind of wanted. So there's only the leaves on the far right of the left-hand side show, but that's okay. You saw me playing with an acorn. The acorn that cut out with my cameo was really big. So I went to this pattern paper and I decided to cut out 2 acorns painstakingly. I even chopped off one of the stems of the acorn, but that's okay. I'm going to tuck it into a leaf in a little bit. I just wanted a little bit of brown in the layout, a little bit more, and then something a little bit different than just leaves. So I decided to add in some acorns, and like I said, I chopped one of the stems, so I'm just going to tuck it into the green layout, and then I'll tuck one by the Thankful, and that way it also adds a point of interest with the acorn and Thankful. Okay, so that project is done. This one is going to be super quick, but I wanted to show you how in the beginning I said you could take an X-Acto knife and use it on these library cards. So I kind of did that ahead of time just to make sure it would work. I did that off camera and it did work, and I was able to cut it, and now you can see I'm able to put the photo in. Not upside down though, I gotta fix that. And it's just gonna be a very simple page about cozying up with this amazing book. I cannot wait till his second book comes out. And it's not a series or anything like that, it's a different book, but he's an incredible author. It's Under the Cerulean, I think I said that right, Under the Cerulean Sea. So it's an incredible book, one of my favorites of 2020. So I took that orange paper, tore off 2 of the pieces, and then I decided I'm gonna make a kind of pattern paper strip across the middle of the little library cards, library pockets, and I love how that turned out. And then I'm going to use a few of my stamp sets from Feed Your Craft, because I have several of those that are about reading and fall. So I'm going to use those, and I have an Allie Edwards ink Honeyman that works perfect for the yellow mustard color in Mandy's kit. So I'm stamping Cozy Vibes, Always a Book at Hand, enjoyed this so much. And then I stamped Totally a Homebody, but I am not going to use that stamp. Also stamped Enjoy Some Peace and Quiet. I have everything stamped, I have all my papers, and now I'm just going to start assembling it. So I am going to tuck in the yellow, so you're not going to see that since the main large pocket is yellow. So I'm just going to mainly put down the pockets that are not in the main pattern papers. So you will see the blue and you'll see a little bit of the gray. And then I will put down the pocket. I'm only going to put a little bit of adhesive at the bottom and then some at the top, and angle it towards the right hand side of the page. Once I get currently cut out, I'm going to pop dot that, and then that'll be like my title for right below my pocket card. And then I was kind of working the Cozy Vibes and Always a Good Book in Hand. I didn't like how that was working, so I'm going to put Always a Good Book down by the library pocket. And then the blue sentiment is going to go next to Cozy Vibes on the right. Enjoy Peace and Quiet is just going to tuck right to the left, and I'm going to kind of anchor that down and give it a little more weight. That's kind of my word for this video. And I'm going to make that more prominent too with some of these asterisks. That's what I call them, asterisks. And I'm just adding a few of those, and this page is almost done. I decide to add in one little thankful sentiment, and so I put that down at the bottom. I think it says appreciate the little things, and then I'll stamp thankful twice, and that will be the end of this page. And it is so cute and so fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing how to use another printable kit and seeing 2 projects come to life. I'd love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you're new to my channel. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.